Sergei Vasilyev never thought of himself as a bad person. Once he served in the police, catching criminals, upholding the law. But the system changed, and so did he. Bribes, setups, working for the right people, it all became part of his life. Until one day, his own comrades betrayed him. A trial, a brief sentence, 10 years in a high-security colony, but not an ordinary one. "You're going to the black camp," said his cellmate in the detention center. "That's where they send people like you, former cops." The convoy led them through the taiga, dark forest, black sky. The colony was in a remote place, where even birds didn't sing. The gates were tall, barbed wire rusting in the rain. Guard towers looked like nests of dead birds. "Welcome to hell," smirked one of the guards. Sergei immediately felt the hatred. The inmates looked at him with predatory grins. To them, a former cop was meat. "You won't live long," whispered one of the new arrivals. The usual rules didn't apply in the camp. The inmates held the power, and the guards turned a blind eye. This was a different world, where power belonged to those who were stronger, smarter, tougher. Sergei lived as if on a knife's edge. Every day could be his last. In the dark, someone whispered his name. On walks, someone dragged a blade across his throat. Just a warning. At night, he heard someone being dragged down the corridor. In the morning, the body was gone, as if it had never been there. One night, his cellmate disappeared. "Where's Klimov?" he asked. "He went into the ground," one of the lookouts replied indifferently. But Sergei noticed that some inmates began to fear the night. They weren't hiding from people. They were hiding from something else. That night, he heard a sound. A creak. A rustle. As if something huge was moving behind the walls. A shadow flickered outside the window. Tall, not human. A quiet moan came from the darkness. Sergei covered his mouth with his hand to keep from screaming. The next morning, another inmate was gone. "In the black camp, it's always like this," said an old man nicknamed Grandpa. "If you want to survive, don't go out at night." But on the third night, it came for him. The cell door creaked open. Sergei froze. In the dark, something stood, swaying slightly. Tall, bony, hungry. Eyes. It didn't blink. He doesn't remember closing his eyes. When he woke up in the morning, the door was locked, but there were tracks on the floor. Human, but not quite. A week later, Sergei made a decision. "I'm leaving," he told Grandpa. "No one leaves," the old man shook his head. "This camp holds everyone, the living and the dead." But he ran. Night, taiga, screams behind him. He didn't know if it was the guards or it. He ran until his legs gave out. Sergei woke up in a hospital. "They found you in the forest," said the doctor. "Where's the camp?" he asked. The doctor frowned. "What camp?" "There's nothing there. It's been closed for 20 years, but Sergei knew it was a lie, because at night, he still heard the creak of floorboards and footsteps behind the door.